Hello and welcome to the WriteCome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode on WriteCome.com. And today I want to talk about the little devil on your shoulder. Now, when I was growing up, one of my favourite cartoons to watch was Tom and Jerry, and I especially loved those episodes where, for whatever reason, the little conscience that either character had was represented by a little devil on one shoulder or a little angel on the other. And for whatever happened maybe in that cartoon, there would be a scene maybe where the character was maybe drowning or something was going on, and you would have the other character kind of pausing for a second, listening to the little angel for what it was telling them to do, maybe to save the person or whatever. Or then you would have the little devil on the other side, and it was probably telling them to annihilate the other character or hit them with a baseball bat or drop a bowling ball on their head or something like that. But you had the kind of main character then kind of swaying between the two voices. Which one should he listen to? Should he go with the good side or should he go with the bad side? Now, while we mightn't have a little cartoon character on our shoulders, whatever we do each day is swayed by the little voice that we listen to, whether that's the positive one or the negative one. I was just listening to an episode of Bob Proctor over on Facebook. He had posted a video there, and in this video episode he had been talking about how even he, from time to time, has this little negative voice that kind of sways him one way or the other. You know, as he said, there was something that he brought up in his seminar, and it was something he recommended that all his students would do, in that they would write a daily piece every day. And for whatever reason, he was actually recommending that they do it with their opposite writing hand. I don't know whether that was to imprint it in some particular way in their minds or whatever. But as he said, one day he just said to himself, you know, it's okay me telling my, my students or whatever, or my clients to do something like that, but, maybe I should do it myself. Maybe I should take my own medicine. And as he said, he had a little bit of a journal that had, was thick enough. It had 365 pages in it, so there had to be one filled out every day. And as he said, as he was going along, he knew that he had a business trip coming up, or he had to go off and do a seminar, he had to travel somewhere. And he was looking at the booklet that he had in his hand, and he was thinking, when I like to travel, he said, I like to take as little things as possible. I like to travel as light as possible. And when I looked at that book, I kind of was looking at it, kind of thinking, this is a really, really thick book. Maybe I shouldn't take it with me. Maybe I should skip a couple of days, and maybe I should, maybe do it when I come back or whatever. And he said he actually just paused for a second and actually listened to himself. And his mind, he was actually arguing with himself. This kind of, the little devil on his shoulder was kind of giving him all the reasons why he shouldn't do it, why he should leave the journal behind, why it was okay to not, do it every day and to come back to it later on. And it was almost, it put me in mind of the Tom and Jerry cartoons, in that we have that little voice that is telling us, what to do and what not to do. And unfortunately, sometimes we do listen to the negative side. Now, I'm not saying that this little devil on your shoulder is telling you to go out and kill somebody or to rob a bank or something like that. But sometimes it does actually sway you in a direction that isn't, the right direction for you. It's going to give you reasons why you shouldn't do what you do. Like if you're trying to lose weight, it's going to tell you that it's raining outside. It's time just to pull the covers back over your head and go back to sleep. Or if it is time maybe to write a blog post today, it's going to give you all the reasons not to do it. It's sunny outside, or your audience, there's no audience turning up to your blog, so nobody is going to miss if you don't turn up today. Or if it maybe is a podcast episode or whatever. Again, even today, before I fired up the app to record this episode today, I had that little voice in my head today saying, Barry, you don't need to do a podcast episode today. You did the 250 episode yesterday, so take a few days off, celebrate that success or whatever, and your audience isn't going to care, because at the moment, I've got a small audience, so it's not really that many people are going to miss this episode. And again, as I said, like Bob, I had that negative kind of voice in my head, and as Bob explains in that video, all that kind of negativity, it's not coming from this kind of devil. I don't know if you believe in the devil or whatever, but it's not that it actually comes from this kind of thing. It's actually all your past conditioning, and not just your own past conditioning. It's the conditioning that you took on from your parents and maybe the generation beforehand, As Bob says, if you look at some families who are welfare recipients, it's gone back from generation to generation to generation. All those habits, all those kind of maybe not push themselves, maybe not trying to stretch, maybe not about educating themselves or whatever is kind of going from generation to generation, and they have all that baggage on their shoulder that is telling them, that they're not worthy of going to college, that they don't deserve a better job, that they don't deserve to live in a better house, and they're, as I said, they are kind of listening to that negative little voice, and because of that, then they are kind of going down the route of not being or not living up to the potential. So that's what I want you to think about today, in that we have a little kind of an angel and a devil on our shoulders, and to treat it almost as realistically as Tom and Jerry does in the cartoon, because you are going to have that little voice that's going to tell you right now today, whatever you're looking to do, it's going to give you tons of excuses of why you can't do it, why you're not talented, why you aren't an expert, why. It's going to give you a long kind of shopping list of reasons why you can't do it, and it's up to you to kind of look at that for what it is. It is your past conditioning. It is conditioning not only from maybe going back to maybe childhood, maybe where the English teacher said that you were a terrible writer, or maybe that time where you froze on stage and you lost complete confidence in yourself, or maybe it was a time you stood up in class and put your hand up to answer a question and you just made a fool of yourself in front of everybody. You have all that old conditioning that you have to compete with, and it's going to be throwing up excuses, it's going to be throwing up reasons why you can't do what you want to do. Again, it always makes me laugh sometimes when I see somebody who is maybe selling a business kind of idea or a product or a video training course that is going to make you become a millionaire in a year, or £10,000 next week or whatever. And unfortunately, it never ever, none of them ever actually get into the mental side of the kind of person you need to be to create $1 million a year. If you aren't creating $1 million a year right now and you continue along the way you are, in 12 months from now you are still going to be the exact same person, getting the exact same results, and still as far away from being a millionaire as you are right now. So as I said, whatever you are doing right now, unfortunately you are taking all this mental baggage with you into whatever new business idea you're doing, podcasting, fiction writing, video training, or YouTube channels, or whatever content you're creating. You are taking all that mental baggage with you today, and as I said, it is going to be a little bit of a devil on your shoulder today. It is going to question you, it's going to throw up reasons and excuses why you aren't talented and why you can't do it, and if you do listen to it, you are going to continue along the route that you're on, or maybe you might actually go backwards. You're not going to stretch yourself. So what I want you to do today maybe is just to kind of look over to your other shoulder, the little angel on your shoulder that is giving you the inspiration, that is telling you to, why not be a podcaster, why not be a fiction writer, why not be a blogger, and kind of listen to that voice, even though that voice mightn't be able to tell you the path. Listen to it, the inspiration that's given you, and try and actually, stretch yourself and go in that direction. And you will be surprised that, right now, you mightn't think you're talented enough to be a writer, but as I said, a few podcast episodes back, for you to get good, you are going to have to go through the dreadful phase. You're going to have to go through the dreadful phase where all the content you're creating is terrible, and then you are going to reach a point where maybe your content is starting to be bad. It's a little bit improved, but it's not as good as it was, and then you have to need to go through that kind of bad phase, and then at the end of that bad phase, you are going to come through the okay phase, where your content is going to be better, and then you're going to go on to the good phase, and then you're going to come on to the better phase, and then probably the brilliant phase. But you're going to have to go through all those phases, and each point, that little devil on your shoulder is going to tell you to drop out, that you're never going to be able to get better, that you're never going to improve, and that nobody is going to pay attention to you, nobody's going to listen to you, nobody's going to read anything that you create, and it's going to keep you right where you are. So what I want you to do today is think about that little devil on your shoulder. As I said, if you have watched Tom and Jerry in the past, you're probably aware of what I've explained, or maybe if you just go to YouTube and do a YouTube probably for angel or devil for Tom and Jerry, it'll give you an idea of the type of scene that I'm talking about. But again, as I said, all of us have those little angels and devils on our shoulders right now that are either swaying your mind one way or the other. And if you find maybe that you are maybe not taking action on what you're supposed to be doing, it's probably because you are paying too much attention to that little devil on your shoulder. So as always, if you'd like to ask me a question or you'd like me to answer anything in this podcast, feel free to reach out to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com, or if you want to go over to the Rightcome site, we have a great free report at the moment which is called Words to Wealth, and in it I'm going to show you 10 different ways you can make money from your writing. Or if you want to subscribe to or like the Facebook page, again, do a search for Rightcome, WRITECOME.com. And as always, thanks for sharing your time again today. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Rightcome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.